There we go. Okay, I am Steve Beck in Morris, Illinois. I have the pleasure of kicking things off with a little bit of music before we start each call on Sunday. And when we actually start the call, we always do so with our signature message. But the team putting this together has decided to give it a little twist. And rather than having to hear me read it to you every Sunday, we're going to bring in a different person to read our signature message. I think that's a great change. It gives more people a chance to participate, and you don't have to listen to me as much. So with that, tonight from Rapid City, South Dakota, this lady has spent 38 years as an IT professional, and her retirement goal is to play golf in all 50 states. I give you Phyllis Martins. Phyllis, go ahead.
Thank you, Steve. As Steve said, I'm Phyllis Martins from Rapid City. I'm an IT professional, and our signature message is as follows. We are a part of a growing team of entrepreneurs with a shared mission to protect and empower 2 million families and small businesses with Legal Shield's network of law firms and world-class identity theft services. What we do matters, and we are looking for help. Back to you.
Great job, Phyllis. Thank you for kicking that up for us. And I'm sorry, I don't have the agenda in front of me, so I don't know who to introduce next.
I'll go for it. Hey guys, welcome to our SPI Team Zoom 2.0. I'm so excited. This Zoom really is about you all and sharing this with you all. That is why we are incorporating everybody, and we are having so much fun doing it, so you don't have to hear the same person over and over and over and over and over again. As much as we love doing that, this is way more fun, and we get to know you all. So with that, I get the option, I don't even know what I'm saying. I get the opportunity to introduce Annette Zobar out of Illinois, and she is going to share with us some stories on the membership and the opportunity. Annette, it is yours.
Thank you so much, Danny. I love stories. My name is Annette Zobar, background QuickBooks Consulting, and I'm out of Plainfield, Illinois. And you know what, if you're new to our Zooms or to the team, you might be wondering, why do we have this segment on stories? Well, stories are how we share the incredible impact Legal Shield has on the lives of our members and our associates. They motivate us. They help us make connections with our prospects. And they're really important, especially if you are new and you don't have stories of your own. So you can borrow these stories. So when you hear these stories, when you listen, take some notes, not only about the story, but how they're telling the story and about their background, their location and situation. So you can share this information when it's appropriate. So tonight we have two stories, and the first one we're going to go out to is we're going to go down the road to Louisville, Kentucky, and talk to Ken Blum on a small business story. Ken, the Zoom is yours.
Thank you, Annette. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Ken Blum, Louisville, Kentucky. This is a small business story. I've run into 5 or 6 versions of the same story. Signed up a roofing contractor who had done a job for a residential resident, and it was a $5,500 job, which is common in that business. The insurance company often pays the homeowner, and it's not uncommon for the homeowner to go out and spend the money and then tell the roofer that they haven't done their job right and refuse to pay. So when I met him, it'd been going on for 5.5 months, and this guy was just about, the next day was going to call an attorney and have an attorney file a mechanics lease on the, and I caught him just in time, got a letter written, and it's amazing what a collection letter from a law firm will do versus you trying to call someone and collect a bad debt. He collected it within 1 week. Back to you, Annette.
Thank you so much, Ken. Our small business owners love that collection aspect. I have a couple clients that literally pay for their membership every month because of that. So thank you so much for sharing. Now we're going to go back to Rapid City, and Phyllis Martins has a story about ID Shield.
Yes, again, Phyllis Martins from Rapid City. As an IT professional, I deal a lot with IT issues. And I received an email this past week regarding my domain name that I've had for 20+ years. The sender wanted to know if that was my domain because another company wanted to register it as theirs. I was advised the sender I was to advise the sender if that was okay to do that. I checked out the address, the company, and the request seemed to be really legit based on my research, but I was hesitant to respond. So I started by calling ID Shield. The private investigator asked me for the sender's email. And in less than 10 minutes of initiating that call, I learned that the email address belonged to a scam that had been going on for over 2 years. He said I did not have to contact my attorney and the issue was resolved. Because of that incident dealing with my domain name, I am now also a member of ID Shield for Business. Back to you, Annette.
Thank you so much, Phyllis. That is really a great story. You know, I never think to contact ID Shield investigators about possible scams. And I think we all learned something about that tonight. So thank you so much for sharing. And now we're going to go over to our celebrations and recognitions. So I'm going to pass the Zoom over to Mr. Matt Miller. Matt, the Zoom.
Thank you so much, Annette. Appreciate that. I love those stories. That was awesome. Matt Miller, Cincinnati, Ohio, background manufacturing, and it's time to celebrate. Happy Sunday. First of all, so get the chat ready, get the fingers warmed up, get ready to type in the chat here, guys. So first of all, celebrating everybody who's shown up. We all know from Mr. Drennan that success begins with showing up. So a couple things here. If you have already mad streaked for the month of June, type the word mad in the chat. I'm typing it right now as well. Bam. Ooh, people get mad. I like it. Danny's mad. Jane's mad. Oh, I sent a direct message instead of just everybody. There we go. All right. Yeah, there we go. Bridget Pocket Parker, Sheila Bird. Great to see you, by the way, Miss Bird. Phyllis Martins, mad. Oh, cool. I like it. Who else is mad? Anybody else mad? There we go. All right. If you're not already mad now, let's make it a goal to be mad for next week when I ask the same question. Oh, Timmer's mad. Did it? There we go. That's good. Timmer, love to see that. Coach, that's great. Miss Linda Beck, awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. And now we're going to step it up a little bit. If you're already Performance Club qualified for June, just type in PC. Okay, got some work to do, right? Okay, that's good. Okay, all right. Okay. Oh, Timmer. There we go. There we go. Leading from the front, Timmer. Okay. And anybody who's, there we go, Miss Bird. There we go, Steve Beck. I see him now. Okay. All right. All right. Anybody PC Pro already for June yet? Kind of middle of the month. PC. Oh, there we go, Miss Bird. Yeah, that's a ring earner right there. That's saying something. Being already PC Pro by the 13th of the month. There we go. Anybody else PC Pro? Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. I see you, Danny. Okay. There we go. All right. Great. Congratulations, guys. Let's keep up that great work. We'll have some, we'll definitely see more PC and PC Pros for next Sunday. So one more point before I kick it off to some great rank advancement stories. If you attended a Super Saturday yesterday, just put in super, type in super in the chat. There we go. Annette, Super Saturday. There we go. Lee. Yep. Great Super Saturdays yesterday. Yes. Great training. That was awesome. That was awesome. Cool. All right. Oh, and FYI, I mean, I'm sure you guys that were on the Super Saturday saw us yesterday, but the Hearsts quadrupled their income during the pandemic. That's saying something, right? That's a big celebration for all of us. So, okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Danny Godin real quick with some rank advancement stories. Danny, take it away.
I hope if I unmuted myself. Hey guys, yeah, Tim and I did have some rank advancements. We had a gentleman who sold his first membership, which helped rank advance our next associate, Chad, to senior associate. That helped his sponsor rank advance to manager, which then helped his sponsor rank advance to director. So let me tell you guys, when you're helping team, it helps everybody. It was really awesome to watch that whole little domino effect. That was just really fun because I kept getting the emails from corporate, this person rank advance, this person rank advance. And I was like, cool, you know, all on the same team. So, I mean, just keep striving for it. If you follow the system that is in place, first step, fast start, it literally booms people right out the door. Like they hit senior associate within their 20 days. They're hitting manager within their 45 days. You know, Alan, who hit director in, I believe he's been in the company 9 months. So that is huge because director is what our top permanent paid position. So congratulations to all of them. Unfortunately, most of them are not on the call today. Please give a shout out and some prayers to Alan as he is been called to duty for his National Guard. So we are sending him our positive thoughts. Back to you, Matt.
All right, thanks, Danny. Congratulations to you and your team, and we'll definitely be keeping him in our prayers. That's for sure. Anybody else have any rank advancements? Just give me a wave. Any other rank advancements? Okay, let me move my chat out of the screen so I can see everybody. Okay, good. And with that, we're going to transition to our next segment, guys. Got the distinct honor and privilege to turn it over to a good friend of mine, Miss Lee Perry, who's going to do our first interview with an associate. Miss Lee Perry, go ahead.
Hey, this segment's called What's My Line? And it is my honor and privilege to interview somebody that I actually know pretty well. Lynn Schuessler Williams is our featured associate this evening. And Lynn, give me 1 second because I have got to set the timer because you guys know Lynn and I, once we start, it's Katie bar the door. So let me get the timer going here. Sorry about that, guys. Meant to have that set up. I was having too much fun writing down notes about stories and all the rank advancements. And Lynn, guess what today is? 6 years since I've been on your team today.
Oh my
How fun is that? Yeah, today.
Best day ever.
And what a great way to celebrate. So Lynn, the first question I have for you, tell us about your first job and how that prepared you for what you're doing now.
Oh my gosh, this is actually a funny story. So my very first W-2 job was guessing people's ages and weights at an amusement park. And it was it was two things that are really important to the rest of my career. It was my first speaking job because I had a microphone and I was out there in front of all these people. I was 15 years old and I sat on a stool with a microphone and this big, huge, scale behind me in a gazebo. And it was my first sales job too, because it didn't matter if you were any good at guessing, because they paid to play, and if they won something, the prizes were 2 cents a piece or something, right, to the park. So they didn't care if you were any good at getting them at guessing. They cared if you were good at getting them to play, right? So think about that in terms of our business, right? Getting people to play, getting people to participate, to have a conversation, to engage with you, right? So it was my first sales job and my first speaking gig. And I think it's the reason I never was afraid to have a microphone handed to me and say, go talk, right? I've been doing it since I was 15 years old in public. So there
at least Mike knew what he was getting himself into, right?
Well, let's hope. Bless his heart.
Well, I know that one of the things that's really spoken to you is the Ladies of Justice, and I'd love for you to share with other folks why Ladies of Justice speaks to you and how you've incorporated it.
Well, there are so many reasons. I mean, it's a movement, really. You all think about it that way. And Ladies of Justice is important. I'm 60 years old. I was 15 in 1975. I remember dinner table conversations about whether women should be allowed to go to work or not. I remember the ERA being the Equal Rights Amendment for women being a hot topic every day, right? And so I knew, I had friends who went to college to get an MRS degree, right? And I knew that was never for me. I knew that was, I had other things to do, and to feel like, it's all the people in our society, not just women. It's people of color, it's LGBTQI people, it's people who are not represented, not feeling like they have equal justice under law, right? So it's the same reason Legal Shield's important to me. But this is close to my heart because I'm a woman. And so think of how I must feel to be able to create a community of women. And every event that I hold, and I hold at least 9 free women's networking and empowerment events every month, we say our mission is to provide women the opportunity and the environment, because that's what we didn't have, right? There was no environment where we were encouraged to build our belief and confidence, step into our greatness and power, create choices, and live a purposeful life. There was no place where the core values of discover your worth, build an inclusive and diverse community, create your legacy, own your seat at the table, or as I like to say, just own the darn table, right? And integrate family were encouraged and important for us. And, whatever it is that your experience has been for the women here, I encourage you to just see it as a place where you can get empowered, because that's sure what it's been for me, Lee.
Thank you so much, Lynn. You've got 10 seconds. What's the last thing they need to know?
Oh, well, I like to have fun.
All right. Thank you so much.
Up there.
All right. Lynn Schuster-Williams, Louisville, Kentucky. Be sure to give her a shout and have a 1-to-1 if you get a chance. Thanks, Lynn. Appreciate you being on and everything you do for our team. All right. And now it's time for the training tidbit. And you guys know this is our training week. So we have Miss Resource herself, Jane Lehman. What you got for Resource Ready tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, let me just share my screen here. And I'm just still in shock that Lynn likes to have fun. None of us ever knew that before, right? So here is screen share. I hope you can all see this. Y'all, we as leaders have to know where these things are. So tonight I'm going to take you to LS Engage resources. We're going to look at the most commonly used resources, and then we're going to find a PDF called 50 Great Books on Personal and Leadership Development. How many of you knew that was there? So Lee, my screen, there we go. Here we go. So we're going to resources. It's right on your LS Engage. I put it like this in case there were new people on that don't know where to go, but most of us should know where we're going. Here you come to most commonly used resources. It's the first category in the list. And when you click on that, the drop-down menu brings you, if you'll notice the second thing, it says leadership. 50 great books on personal and leadership development. Who knew? I didn't know this was here until I started looking at things. And over to the right, if you'll notice where it says message, if you click on that, you can send an internal message to your entire team. Send this document out to your entire team. And one more, that's the document itself. It's got, I couldn't get any bigger on the screen, but it's got 50 books. Now, up in the right-hand corner, you'll see that you can either download or print the document. And I have one disclaimer. Well, there are fun facts. First of all, the most mentioned author is John Maxwell with 4 books, at least for now. And there are only 49 books on this list. Someone didn't do their checking. Book number 13 and book number 43 are the same book, Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. But not to worry, I added a new number 50 because I love this book and Darcy's trained on it very often. And that is the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John Maxwell. So with that, hope I didn't go too fast. We went to LS Engage, resources, most commonly used resources, 50 great books. And I'm telling you all this in case people are on their phones. And of course, at the bottom, if you have questions, you can text or call me at 810-333-3442. And that was my moment of resource readiness. So back to you.
All right, Danny.
Hello. I have the great privilege, sorry, my dogs are barking like crazy. I have the honor and great privilege to introduce our trainer this evening. As you know, it is the second Tuesday of the month, and we have decided that the second Tuesday of the month is actually going to replace our Wednesday training. And so we are now going to have the second one be our training. It's going to go a little bit longer than what you're used to, up to 45 minutes to an hour, right? But anyway, so I have the honor, the privilege to introduce Mr. John Drennan, the founder of Success Partners. The Zoom is yours.
Thanks so much, Danny. I appreciate it. Kudos, everyone. And by the way, the training won't be 45 to 60 minutes. It will be the total Zoom tonight. So just wanted to clarify that. Some of you, I saw, you're freaked. That's why we want the videos on, so I can see if you freak out about something or get inspired by something. But what a great job, Danny, you and Lee are doing. I do want to take a minute and just say kudos. I mean, the music was phenomenal. Steve Beck, great job. You know, the two stories tonight, one was small business, one was identity theft. So the diversity of how we're helping people, and what great stories. And then I hope y'all caught, as Danny was sharing those advancements, I pictured these dominoes falling one after another. One advancement led to 3 more advancements. So 4 people being impacted by that. And then I've hung out with Lynn Schuster Williams a lot. I never heard that story. That 15 years old, here's a mic, young girl. That's what it would have been. And love your commentary too, Lynn, you know, as having 2 daughters that I believe are capable of anything and deserve equal pay, equal opportunity, you name it. I'm a fan, so great job. And then Jane, a wonderful job. That's one of your lanes there, to just provide resources like that. I did not know that list was there. I'm eager to go get it. I was able to look and see most of those books I own or I've read. And it looked like a great list. So many resources back there. Okay, with that, I am going to jump into the training. I do invite you to keep your videos on, and if your video is not currently on, turn it on if you can. I get that there's just times it's inappropriate, you can't do it, whatever, you're driving. And but the reason is I do want this interactive. Secondly, I'm not going to use PowerPoint, because I don't want to take the screen up with PowerPoint. But I do want to encourage you, take some notes here if you can, as I go through this. And so there's a few of you who may recognize this training from when I first did it in 2015. But here's the thing, even if you were there taking notes, it doesn't matter, because when I first introduced this, I was not who I am today, and you were not who you are today. We've changed enough that even as I go through this, I think I am not the same person today who wrote this and talked about this about 6 years ago. And so what I'm going to talk about here is stumbling versus thriving. And I'm going to be as bullet point as necessary to help you with the notes. So I'm going to give you 13 ways where we can stumble or we can thrive. Okay, ready? So now, I see Matt, you're ready. Lee, I see you're ready. I see Danny's ready. I see Jane's ready. So many of you are ready. Okay, here we go. Number 1, we stumble when our attitude is below the line. So you can make the note attitude. Here's a line. Are you below it? We thrive when our attitude's above the line. And the difference, that line is neutral. Below the line is when we start to dim a room that we walk in. Below the line is when we tend to complain more than we compliment. Now, below the line is, whether it's in our own head or in our words, it's when we're bringing something that lacks value, and above the line, we're bringing something that has value. And so just, that's the first one, and you can check yourself on that. You can start to think about throughout the day, am I a complimenter or a complainer? You know, am I a blamer, or do I take responsibility? Do I brighten a room or darken a room? You know, do I, and you can get more into it. Do I have the ability to say no? Some people have trouble saying no, and they end up saying yes to everything and not doing well at anything. Or can I speak my own mind? You know, can I show up as me? So that's the first one. Second one, we stumble when we are influenced by the opinion of others, and we know oftentimes it's friends and family that bring the hardest weight with their opinions. We thrive when we're not affected by the opinions of others. And the main thing that helps us to overcome that is our why. If our why is compelling, it doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks or says or believes. Just what matters is where are we going? And so that's a big one. We do stumble when we're affected by the attitudes of other people. You know, some of us even get affected by attitudes of people we don't even know. That's really harmful. Okay, third one, we stumble when people say no to us. Yet you have to have no's. You can't have yes without no. I love to use this image. I want you all to imagine let's say the nearest Starbucks or McDonald's near you. And on a typical day, and let's use Starbucks. How many of you would agree a typical Starbucks, there's cars driving in all through that line all day long. There's people parking, coming in all day long. Yes, true. I'm seeing a lot of you are with me on that. Bridget, even up there where you live in the north, same thing. So if you owned have you ever seen an owner of a Starbucks standing at the front window commiserating over the fact all the cars that are driving by not pulling in? They're all effectively saying no. They're driving right by. What do you think it is? 100 to 1? 100 drive by, 1 drives in? Is it 500 to 1? But it doesn't matter. Why? You serve the ones who say yes. This is a business about looking at who's going to walk in the door so we can serve them. So we thrive when we focus on the process, looking for the yeses. We really stumble when we focus on and get affected negatively by the no's. Okay, number 4 has to do with consistency. We stumble when we lack consistency in our efforts. And those of you, I mean, I'm looking at y'all and I see who's plugged in, and especially our morning stretch call, we can name the people who are consistent. I mean, Bob Cohen's as consistent as they come. He's a Millionaire Club member. The Godins have been more consistent in their business the last year than ever before, and it took them from stuck at director to executive director repeatedly. The Birds, I mean, I've known the Bird. I'm looking at Sheila Bird, right? Sheila, I'm looking at you right now. I love your smile. Sheila and Carlos, I've known them a long time. They were in Michigan when I was there, and they were so consistent. And then they moved to Georgia. That consistency hasn't changed. So we really stumble when we're not consistent. We thrive when we have consistency of routines. It's one thing to think about or talk about being consistent, but the key to consistency is routines. And then having your family understand those routines. Like my wife knows now that I'm doing the Monday night Zoom, not the Wednesday night, because her calendar, my wife's calendar had John does Zoom every Wednesday at 8. Well, now I'm doing Monday at 8. So even my wife's calendar changed, and certainly mine did. Sunday night, we weren't doing this last month. Now we are. Now it's on my wife's calendar and mine. That's consistency. Okay, so that's, what are we up to? Somebody give me the number in fingers. Thank you, Danny. Thank you. We're on number 5, Robert. Yep, thank you. So, okay, let's go to, here we go. Let's go to this one. We stumble when we fail to develop our basic skills. And the basic skills here, you all know what they are. Here's the basic skills, adding people to our list. We stumble if we're not doing that because we run out of people. Our ability to invite, that's a basic skill. Our ability to follow up with a 3-way call, that's a basic skill. our ability to walk someone through a 8 to 10 minute presentation, whether it's on Zoom, whether it's sitting down with them, whether it's even using a brochure or the consumer folder, or again, a video or whatever we use to walk someone through, asking questions along the way. And at the end, asking, hey, based on what you heard, is this something you want to go ahead and get started? That's a basic skill. And then the basic skill of onboarding a new member, onboarding a new associate. We stumble if we can't do these things. We thrive when we can, because they're all just so important to the business. Next one, we stumble when we're not teachable. Let me say it this way, we stumble when we're not coachable. Because to me, teachable, when I hear that word, I think, okay, you're on right now, you're taking notes, you're paying attention, you're like being teachable. Being coachable is taking something from tonight and implementing it. And, you know, being coachable does not mean implementing everything. You know, we can't do that. But we're all at a different place. Some people tonight need to implement the routine of consistency. Other people need to implement finding that resource Jane talked about. So, but constantly implementing new things as we're ready for them, that's really when we thrive. Okay, next. By the way, I'm about halfway through this. Are you getting value? Okay, Carol's getting value. Jane's getting value. Ted's getting, okay, I see you. I don't see y'all because there's a couple pages and I'm only on one here. Okay. Oh, wow, here's a big one. If we don't stay long enough to get the desired results, we stumble. This one gets pretty almost profound. And it, actually in my book, I really get into this because in this business, you can double your business every month for 6 months, starting with you in the first month, and then you bring someone in. So there's 2 of you in the next month, 4 of you in the month after that, 8 the month after that, 16th the month after that, 32 the month after that. And if you're doing that, you're on track to make millions. Yet a lot of people have done that, and in 6 months they got 32 people, and only 4 to 6 of them are doing anything. And people think that's a failure, and they'll literally quit when that's a pure success, because they've doubled for 6 months and 20% of people are doing something. That's a total home run in this business. But people are so used to trading time for money that they're faked out. They think, I've been at this 6 months, I've only got 5 people doing anything. You know, I've only got 30, and they heard of somebody else that's got 300, and they start comparing and looking at their paycheck versus their Legal Shield income, and they're completely missing the fact they're on track. But it's like they live there where Ted Wilson lives in Tennessee, and they're taking a trip to Florida, and they've only gotten as far as the Georgia line, and they're saying, well, this ain't working, I'm turning around and going back. No, you're on track. You're just not to Florida yet. Big one. You thrive when you stay on course with Lynn Schuster Williams' last 3 words, no matter what. The last 3 words are the 9 little words, no matter what, no matter how long it takes, because it is going to be different for each of us because we're different. Okay, we stumble when we move so slowly that we never gain any momentum. Think about, you all know how to ride a bike. Try riding a bike without getting enough speed to keep your balance. You know, try and get an airplane off, if you're a pilot, off the tarmac if you don't get enough speed and energy and thrust. You know, that's true for so many things. In sports, that's true in so many things. You need that energy, you need that thrust. So a turtle's pace doesn't work well in this business. a turtle's consistency does. So you thrive when there's periods in your business where you just slam the gas pedal and you take massive action, you do a blitz. And I've done that a few times in my business career, and that's why I'm paid every day, and I'm not doing that now. My foot's not on the gas pedal right now for various reasons, but it has been at different times throughout my business. And that's what allowed me, and really anyone I know who's built a team that's paying them six figures, they did it through these periods of thrusting till they broke free of the atmosphere, and now they're in orbit. By the way, how do you use these things? Well, you simply check in with yourself and ask yourself, am I consistent? Am I moving at a turtle's pace at all times? Or have I tested the 90-day run and the thrust, those periods of thrust? Okay, let's do a couple more. We stumble when we fail to achieve a focus toward a single objective or direction. Wow, how many of you can relate to this one in Legal Shield of not keeping a focus? Okay, I see the hands going up from South Dakota to California to Louisville, and me too. I've been faked out at times when I hear how someone got this group and it was 300 people, and I say, well, gee, I know a company like that, and they had a $20,000 payday, and I think, well, I want to go get one of those. Then I think, what's it going to cost? I did this many years ago. Ted Wilson, I think you might have been part of this, but your camera's off now. And Mike Thompson, yours is off. I'm not sure if you were part of it. Do you remember? I wish you guys had your cameras on. Let me see if there's anyone else here. Mike Thompson, I see you. Do you ever remember, Mike, us talking about strip mall marketing with Stephen Lloyd? Yes, I see you shaking your head. Ted, do you remember strip mall marketing? Okay, this, Sheila, do you remember that? Strip mall marketing? I'm not sure you guys were really active. This was quite a while back. And what happened is we felt, when I say we, a bunch of us on the team just felt like membership sales weren't happening enough. So I actually brought in a sales trainer. Bad mistake. Bad mistake. Now, he taught a group of people to be awesome at selling. And we did one of the many things we did was strip mall marketing. We would go to strip malls, park the car, and go in every single building. And we had different strategies and language. And we had people selling 2 memberships a day. We also had people buying leads. I didn't encourage that, but other people heard about it and started buying them, and they were selling 2, 3, 4 memberships a day. Here was the problem: they didn't stick. Buying those leads, the retention, it was a total nightmare, and it resulted in a lot of people quitting the business because they put in all these sales, got all this money. 2 months later, all that money was being charged back. So that was me losing focus. And listening to, you guys know I like to go out and hear your thoughts and sometimes implement them. Well, that was a bad time and a bad thought to implement. So I want to come back to this one because I've known people, and some of you I'm looking at, that one week I talk to you and your focus is team building. The next month I talk to you and your focus is, well, I want to do small business and I'm really excited about the trucker program. And 6 months later, you're trying to do group. And that's like trying to graduate from college when you change your major every 3 months. Here's the thing that happens if you change your major in college every 3 months. A, you never graduate. B, you never get graded anything. C, you spend all your money. And D, you get very disillusioned and your parents just think you're completely crazy. Same thing here. So you thrive when you remain focused toward an objective. And that's not just a pathway of the business, but an objective. Is it, a certain level, a certain number of people you want to help? Right now you all contribute to 2 million. That's my ultimate objective, is to be able to look back and say, I was part of a group of people that were responsible for bringing 2 million people to Legal Shield. Okay, let's go 2 more. We stumble when our attraction calibration is away from or different from what we want. And we thrive when our attraction calibration is in concert with what we want. So what do I mean? Attraction calibration. Well, are we attracting the things we want? And if not, we need to recalibrate. So how is it we attract things? Well, it's by how we show up, how we talk, what we say, what we read, what we do, who we spend time with, just how we show up in the world. And if we're showing up in a way consistent with what we want, that's going to attract toward what we want. That's when we thrive. Let's do one more. We stumble when we fail to use the system. This is the ultimate stumble. When we're not using the tools, we're not using the events, we're not using team, we stumble big time. We thrive when we're maximizing the system. You know, I'm reaching for the newest profiles of success. A lot of people here got in the book because of group business they did. And there are some examples of people who pretty much did it on their own, but I want to set that aside. I'm talking about team building. I'm talking about network marketing. I'm talking about growing a business. There is not one example of a person in here who's done it without following the system. Now, people have followed the system differently. Some people would say, man, I built my business on PBRs in homes. Other people would say, I built my business on the what Dave Savola used to talk about, you know, weekly briefings. But by the way, if you listen closely to Dave, it was much more than that. Others, I say I built most of my business with luncheons. I look at most of you, and that's where I met you. Lee Perry's shaking her head. Lynn, Susan, Ken Blum. Danny, I've been at luncheons with you in Colorado. You know, Annette, I probably met you at a luncheon that Timmer did. And so, but it's still part of the system. And so there's not one person here who's done it without following the system. So that one's huge. You stumble big time when you're not using it, and you got to really use all of it. And you thrive when you're using it. Highly system dependent is the way you want to think about that. To be able to say to people, I am highly system dependent. By the way, that's very attractive to people because most people feel like they're not at all system dependent. So, all right. Hey, with that, I want to go to a gentleman who I've been watching here on the screen, see his reaction. I know Prince Johnson, you got some things from this, and Prince is in Cincinnati and has been hanging out with this team for a number of years and has benefited a great deal. And I'm very honored, Prince, to be able to go to you for the next segment. So thanks, everyone. Over to Prince. You are muted, Prince. You know, I muted him earlier. That was me that muted you earlier because your line was open. Let me see if I can unmute you because I think you're having trouble with it.
I should be now.
There you go.
Got you. Thank you.
Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Drennan. Prince Johnson, Cincinnati, Ohio, background retail jeweler and loss prevention. And what I have to share with you this evening actually comes from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is a post. I do belong to this group, so I'd like to share this reading with you. And these are symptoms of inner peace, if you will. Number 1, there are 8 of them. Frequent attacks of smiling, frequent overwhelming episodes of appreciation, loss of interest in judging other people, loss of ability to worry, tendency to act based on hope rather than on fear, the ability to enjoy each moment, the ability to give and receive love in spite of life's problems, sharing whatever little you have with people having less in life. If these symptoms persist, then thank God. Thank you, and back to you. Danny?
Thank you so much, Prince. That was a wonderful motivational moment. I absolutely appreciate that. All right, guys, this is the end. I hope you all got some great tidbits today. I know John did an amazing training. You know, I love it. You stumble when people say no, but you you thrive when you're focused on the yeses, right? And you know, people do pass Starbucks all the time, or even the local coffee shops. I see it more often with the local coffee shops than Starbucks, people passing by. And I go to the local coffee shops because I can get through their line way faster than I can get through Starbucks line, right? But you know, those are great examples. And then Jane, that resource is wonderful. I've seen that resource, I've used that resource before, and I completely forgot about it. You know, Jeff Bell had mentioned it back about 3 or 4 months ago in one of his talks, and I had looked it up then. So thanks for the reminder of that. And I super appreciate everybody. I want Annette, if you can put your phone number into the chat, and Matt, if you can put your phone number into the chat, if you guys have any stories for next week or any celebrations for next week, please get in touch with them so that they can get you on the list and we can make sure to reach out to you. And with that, I'm going to end it with heading out to Steve for a short video. Steve, back to you.